Today's episode of What Should I Get Pierced is brought to you by Invictus Body Jewelry. All the jewelry you're seeing today is Invictus Body Jewelry, so if you see something you like, let your piercer know you want Invictus. First off, I want to give a universal apology to anyone where I slaughter their names. It's not intentional. Now, the first person we have to look at today is Jordan, and when we look at Jordan, automatically there's that seam ring right in the nostril. That's a good start. It's set in gold, so we should probably start off with some gold here, don't you think? Now, of course, you can always add that other ring on the other side, and of course the trifecta, which is the nostril septum. Another cool option might be, if you just kind of want to offset thing, is to do possible lip piercing on Jordan's left side or our right side. Normally, I like that real balanced look, and I guess it is balanced. It's just not totally symmetrical. The nostril and the lip would look super, super cool, especially when it's healed up and you put that ring in there. All right, and now let's move on to the ear. Now, first thing we're doing is we're looking at Jordan's ear, and I know that Jordan wears a hearing aid, and the hearing aid, there's going to be some wires and things that kind of go across. That's why they drew the black line in there, and you can also see the tubes going in and out. Jordan mentioned that a conch piercing would be awesome as long as the wires weren't in the way. Now, when we're looking at this picture, the wires do kind of run there, but they're in a little tiny bit. The area here at front is shallow enough where I think a ring would look really, really good, and we can get it to the edge where it wouldn't be in the way. Now, to heal this up, you're not going to want to start with a ring. You're going to want to start with a little stud, probably like a 3mm bead or even like an 1/8 inch bead. That's small, shouldn't get in the way. Now, I can't see directly there. I would want to probably see this in person, but I think Jordan could get away with the conch piercing and eventually going to the ring. Now, also looking in there, it looks like the doth piercing would work really, really well. The doth is really thin. You could fit a ring in there as well, and the two rings next to each other would work really, really phenomenal, as long as they weren't too big. Looking across the top at where the flat area is, there's a lot of options for flat piercings like a triple helix, but the wire going across in the back is going to get in the way. So the only true option, in my opinion, would be outside edge helixes, maybe change those to rings in the future as well. And next up, we got Sarge. Now, looking at Sarge, screaming right away is philtrum, medusa, or a septum piercing. The nose is so straight right there, and that philtrum area is large enough where you can support that large piece of jewelry, which makes a statement. Also, you could do the trifecta, like I said before. The nostrils and the septum always look super cool. Now, looking up at the eyebrow, we have the two little areas, looser areas. I would like to balance that out on the other eyebrow with maybe 2 eyebrow piercings. That might be kind of a cool combination. And of course, a labret, heal that up. You could even put a ring in there if you could tolerate having a ring in the center. It's kind of weird to get used to. But let's look at their ear. Immediately you have a fancy squiggly barbell through the industrial, which is always super fun. I'm not sure if it's the picture, but it looks like a black bead on one side, a steel or titanium bead on the other. I'm pretty sure this is externally threaded. I haven't seen a lot of internally threaded squiggly jewelry like this. There's a couple brands, but not a lot. I would want to get a little higher quality jewelry, shorten that up so it doesn't cause any long-term scarring. There's still some fun stuff you could twist around and do with an industrial if you wanted to stick with that. But yeah, some fun stuff we could do with that. Look at that doth. That doth comes all the way out. Normally, I don't like to suggest extreme things, but here you could almost get away with a doth inside of a doth. Of course, you're going to want to heal these a little separately, not at the same time, because the swelling will be too intense on each other. I would start with the inside one first, and then maybe heal it up with the outside one afterwards. And if you want to just add some extra beads, maybe a high lobe or low helix. That finishes everything off. This ear is easy to pierce, easy to pick some fun stuff out. It's more up to the person what style of jewelry you want to go with. Zillion options. Let's move on to their other ear. Yes. Now, on their other ear, they have the 2 black rings up top, and it looks like they're having complications with it. I don't know if there's naturally a divot in the top where that helix is digging in, or if that's the cause of the ring. But it almost looks bruised and scarred up there. You can see the bumps on the inside, which says you need bigger rings in there. If it's pulling on there, that's why those bumps are on there. Put bigger rings in there, maybe even heal it up with some studs for a little bit, and that's going to make all that feel and look much, much more presentable. Now, the other thing I was going to say is look at the tragus. The tragus piercing looks pretty good, maybe a little scarred up, but it looks pierced a smidgen high, which we can use to our favor because you could add a second tragus here right below it. I don't know if I have that square jewelry top like that, but if you can find another diamond to kind of replicate right below it, I think that'd be rad. Now, let's move on to the next person. And next we have Kat. Kat already has a septum piercing, and I see angel bites on Kat. Kat has a nice area right here where you could put some beautiful, beautiful gems, whether they're small or big, and possibly a vertical labret. Now, with the dark lipstick like this, you're going to need to be careful with any prong settings or anything where the makeup and stuff can get inside there. I might even stick with something like a plain titanium bead, just like what she has on her septum. So vertical labret, maybe some angel bites, which are 2 Monroe piercings. And yeah, let's move on to the ear. All right, so there are so many ridges here to pierce. First thing I want to say is maybe a double helix piercing. I mean, a double forward helix. Because when we're looking at the forward helix, it looks like there's 2 pockets there. You could put 2 pieces of jewelry, nice big clusters, just like this to fancy up that front. Now, when we're looking on the outside edge of the helix, it's folded over. That doesn't mean you can't get it pierced, but you're kind of limited with what you would want to do. So I think forward helixes and maybe some lower helixes. And of course, a nice big clicker when it all heals up, but go right for that doff. Again, the centerpiece pulls everything together. And look at those lobes. Again, I like guessing. I would probably guess 0, maybe a double 0 in there now. Plenty of room to stretch bigger. And of course, the bigger you go with plugs, the more ornate and fancy you can go with them. So keep stretching. Remember, nice and slow. And the more I do of these, the more fun this is. I really enjoy doing these videos. So make sure to keep sending those pictures in to me. But let's move on to the last person of the day. And this is, I believe, Lowlight. I apologize if I'm not saying that properly. But I don't see any piercings automatically. Right now, also, there's the headphones on there covering their ears. But I would see a small, tight septum ring. Of course, heal it up with a circular barbell so you have that room and you can tuck it up so it doesn't really move around. But afterwards, just a real tight ring in there or even a fancy, ornate clicker. Lots of different options with that. And of course, we can go right to the vertical labret. I'm a big fan of the vertical labret. I've been doing a lot more of them recently, and they're becoming very, very popular. And with those, you have lots of different options, whether you're doing like the regular curved barbell or even some of the fancier tops. But vertical labret and septum, and if not really into the septum, of course, you can get away with the Medusa. Those two kind of go hand in hand. If you have a good septum, a lot of times it's a good Medusa to pierce too. But they don't work real well together because sometimes they overlap in jewelry and one takes away from the other. So you got to pick one of those two, but there's a couple options there. And last picture, but not least, let's look at their ear. Immediately, tragus piercing. I could see a large gem there, or even a small little one. Heal it up, put a ring in there. Lots of options with that tragus. Now, I'm also liking the way even the lighting is hitting their ear, because you can see how it curves up. We could do 3 piercings up here. I even see like a big gem, medium, and then the small down there. That would work really, really well, as long as it fit in the backside of the natty. Sometimes the conch goes pretty high up and might get in the way of where the jewelry would rest, but the triple up there would look really, really nice. And another fun option would be an orbital. Not through the conch, I'm talking about a helix orbital. You see how I'd put a ring right up in the corner of their ear, half the ring's out at the top, the other half on the bottom? Super rad. But those you can do cap to bead rings, or you can do circular barbells. You need to wait to go one with a seamless or any sort of clicker till after it heals. But of course, clickers or a seamless ring would be super cool in there too. And the last little suggestion I would have is the lobe is pierced, but there's no jewelry in there. You can fill that with something and maybe start stretching it. All right, that was a lot of fun. Thanks for paying attention today. And again, thank you for Invictus Jewelry for all the awesome jewelry options they have. And like I said, if you see something you like, let your piercer know you want Invictus. It seems like everyone really likes these videos and I really enjoy doing them. So if you want to be featured on one of my videos, make sure to send me a picture, kind of like a mugshot profile, one from the side so I can see your ear and one from the front. And also if you have a septum piercing, straighten that septum before you take that picture. It helps out so much. Now, if you want to do this, send it to piercingwithscott@gmail.com. right down there, and I will do my best to get you in one of the future videos. We have a lot of pictures to go through now, so we're going to keep them coming. And of course, if you enjoyed my video, make sure to give me a like, make sure to share it, subscribe, and of course, keep putting holes in your body. We'll see you all in the next video.